Hello everybody, welcome back to Tittok, the mess that is my mind. Currently my dog is chewing on a bone, so that's very convenient timing, Lion. You want to take that somewhere else? Of course not. Coming at you today in a sports bra, sweatpants, and sipping on a White Claw. So, yeah, that's where we're at this Thursday evening. It's the beginning of March 2021. And I'm feeling fine. That wasn't very convincing, wasn't it? No, but I am feeling fine. Yeah, it's been a nice week. I actually got to enjoy some indoor dining. I had a nice steak, a nice filet mignon, some garlic mash on the side, and some root veg, some carrots, and other things. And I also received some great news. This coming Tuesday, I will be getting a few layers of my skin burnt off. I'll be getting my first chemical peel. Very excited, a little apprehensive, because it's something new, something I haven't experienced before, so a little fear of the unknown coming through. But I'm excited. This is what I've been asking for. Finally, I'm getting a little bit of that taste of freedom that I've been asking and desiring, so that's amazing. Had another therapy session with Amy. That went well. I'm about to do the unthinkable. I'm about to leave my dog for a night. I'm going to go to London, Ontario. So thrilling. Such a fabulous place to go. You're thinking, what the hell, Jennifer? What is there to do in London, Ontario? My boyfriend's got a comedy show, so I'm going to go support him. And I'm leaving my dog. He'll be in the safe, loving support and supervision of my grandmother. Honestly, the only person I would ever leave my dog with, I think. But I'm a little anxious. I know I'll get through. I talked to Amy about it and like certain techniques I can do if I, start freaking out because my dog's an hour away from me, and it's not even going to be 24 hours that I'm away from my dog. Like, I'm getting worked up. I'm having like nightmares. Do you guys ever have like reoccurring dreams where you're I don't know, I have a few different reoccurring dreams, and I've had, like, different ones throughout my life. I haven't had this dream in, like, years, but I know a couple of other people have had this one where you're almost, like, just asleep, and then you're walking up some stairs, and then you, like, jolt, like, you fall down the stairs in your dream, and then you jolt yourself awake in real life. I used to have those all the time, and I forget the meaning behind it, but, yeah, now I have this reoccurring dream where I'm, like, on an airplane going somewhere, and I just start freaking out because I won't be able to see my dog for, like, a week, even though I'm, like, on my way to a resort or, like, some vacation destination I've always dreamt of going. In my, like, mind, in my psyche, in my dream, I just start freaking out. So I've been having a few of those plane dreams this week, knowing that I'm going to be leaving my dog this weekend, but I'm sure I'll get through. He'll be fine. Like, literally, he will be fine. I will be fine. Everything will be fine. I just need to get over myself. But what else is new? I'm excited. I'll be able to dress up and enjoy a comedy show indoors. Wow, how thrilling. And if you guys want to call me out, then so be it. I'm allowed to leave Toronto and go and do enjoyable things in the cities in which are granted those freedoms. And I'm not being unsafe about it. I'm following all of the rules and, the certain indoor guidelines that we need to be following, but it's, enough is enough already. It's been a year of not really doing what I want with the exception of a few things, but nonetheless, things are looking up. It's been a good week. I was watching Whitney Cummings' podcast, Good For You podcast, and she had on another comedian, and I'm going to look up that comedian because she's hilarious. Tammy, name's Tammy, Trailer Trash Tammy. Check her out on all socials. She's absolutely hilarious. She was just recently on the Whitney Cummings podcast, and Whitney raised a good point, and it was sort of the idea of, children like divorced parents, or children that suffered loss, or children that really had to advocate for themselves when they were at a young age, oftentimes become like comedians or public speakers or have a podcast, or just are very like okay with being open and vulnerable. And children that really had to like speak for themselves and advocate for themselves at a young age go on to become such great things. And I think it's really funny because although I was never put on the stand per se and had forced to be like, okay, who do you want to live with and why, and sort of advocate for yourself, I was always in a position of like vocalizing what I wanted and like questioning like what was going on in my life. Even right after my parents passed away, like right when I went back to school, because of course I wanted to go back to school right away, and to my knowledge, my aunts were sort of like, yeah, like she needs to go back to normalcy as soon as possible, which was totally cool. But I just remember like vocalizing, where I wanted to live, and the things that I wanted to do. And as I got a little bit older and in high school, when I had to sort of like advocate for myself, like I was always very independent in thought and how I spoke. So I just I think like, if you were ever put in a position of like having to advocate for yourself when you were younger, maybe think and sort of reflect on your current self and be like, wow, like that does sort of resonate with me and make me think a little bit about why I am the way I am, right? I need some tips and tricks. When you're approaching your time of month, when you're about to like have the big bleed, I don't know why I just called it that. That's so like unappealing. When you're about to be on your period is what I'm trying to say here. What do you do to control your emotions? I know things that I can do the other 3 weeks out of the month to control my emotions, but like the lead up, the PMS is real, especially this year. Like I need to keep my emotions in check leading up to that time of month. Because I'm a monster to be around, and like I just feel for the people that have to interact with me during the days leading up to it, because I'm not nice. I'm mean and I'm vicious, and I should be put in a corner, in a dark corner, and just left to rot, really, is how I feel. No, I do think it's a topic to be explored, because my emotions, especially during this time in lockdown, have been just going through this roller coaster and this wave. I just want to simply have the conversation of like, how are we all feeling, like emotionally? I had a couple episodes ago, bitch, you emotional? Yes, I am emotional. I think we all are. I think this time just really like heightens a lot of emotions and feelings, and I, as a like reactive, often explosive person, really am just like trying to find my zen, which I do have, but it's hard to sort of put that into practice sometimes. So I'm asking any of you, potentially you have any tips and tricks on how to like keep my emotions in check, because I'm a monster to be around. I've been able to do like certain like deep breathing techniques and like the sort of walk away and then approach the situation, but sometimes it's just a little too hot to handle. I'm a little too hot to handle, and she needs to be just thrown into Lake Ontario and to, figure it out for herself for a little bit of time. Maybe that's just me being a 25-year-old female, but yeah, is there like some sort of supplement I can take? I'm not big on, medication. Pharmaceutical drugs are not, in my opinion, really helpful. I've seen a lot of people, and again, this is my personal opinion, which is what I'm here to offer. I'm not offering you guys, I'm just sort of like offering my life lessons and insights, and again, my personal opinion. So take what you will from what I say, truly. Like, it's just how I feel at the time in which I'm recording, right? But, past relationships that I've been in, or, certain people that I've watched who are on, for example, antidepressants or anxiety medication, I feel like it just sort of numbs the problem. It's not actually a solution. It's just this temporary you know, sort of band-aid, but unless it's like exposed to oxygen and like reality and actually like dealing with that problem in a constructive way instead of, in my opinion, numbing it with medication, I don't really know how the problem gets solved, right? It's just sort of a temporary solution to make you feel leveled. But to actually train your mind and for the long term be able to deal with that issue, whether it's like a chemical issue, like a chemical imbalance, or I don't know, but I just feel like there's a better, more natural way to deal with certain issues, mood stabilizing wise and whatnot. I don't really always think that antidepressants and certain medications are the answer. It's just sort of a blanket solution. You know, put it under the bed for a bit. And, you know, it's like cleaning your room when you were younger. You would just shove everything under the bed or shove it in the closet and just hope for the best. I don't think it's a long-term solution. So, personally, I won't be going that route. And again, supplements or, you know, some sort of exercise, send them my way because I'm just all over the place. I'm crying one minute, laughing hysterically, like total bitch, angry, everything pisses me off the next, and it's not fun. I don't like being that version myself. I don't claim her. I don't claim the PMS version of myself. She's a fucking bitch. But although she's a fucking bitch, I still have to deal with her, okay? So let's help me deal. Or maybe I'll that's my homework for the week. I will take this away and I will figure out a solution to keep my emotions in check. And I'll get back to you guys on that, okay? That's my homework for this week. So it's my grandmother's birthday this weekend. And I just had a nice visit with her a couple days ago. Gave her a nice pedicure. And just hung out for a bit. She's really into knitting right now. We were watching some HGTV, just like the good old days. And yeah, I just really like spending time with her. It makes my heart just tingle. She's the sweetest thing ever. But leaving her is super hard now, all of a sudden. I hate knowing that she's sort of on her own, living on her own. Because I lived with her for so long and she used to, you know, she would always say, "You keep me so young," and, you know, we both loved having each other around all the time. So just knowing that she's sort of living on her own, it just breaks my heart. But she's she's so busy. She keeps herself so busy and she's happy and she's, you know, she reassures me and everybody else who checks in on her and runs errands for her and does all these things for her. You know, she just assures us that she's fine. And I often forget, you know, that she's lived so much life. We don't realize, or maybe it's not in the forefront of our minds that our grandparents or our parents lived so much life before we got to know them, before we were in their lives. My grandmother's such a strong lady, you know, and she's discovering herself in a new lens right now because she's living on her own, because she's, you know, yeah, she has no nothing really holding her back other than you know, the travel ban. I mean, if it was up to her, she'd be in Ireland right now. That's for sure. She loves Ireland. Even though she's heartbroken that she's only 4% Irish based on ancestry.com, but I mean, you can be as Irish as you want to be, Grandma, in my opinion. But no, she's you know, you can sort of, if I can take a lesson from her, another piece of Wilma wisdom is look forward to being older. Look forward to your golden years, as David Bowie refers to them as. You know, your retirement years. You know, that's when, you know, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't want to grow old." And yeah, it sucks, sort of this concept of growing old, but you know, I am excited to get older and be an older person, and you know, I want to be the most stylish old lady with the coolest glasses and just big, cool art curator-esque outfits, you know, just the really vibey granny. That's what I want to be. Because that's what my grandma is, you know. She's so vibey and she's so strong, and I just, you know, I think we have to just give credit to our parents and grandparents and our elders. You know, I really do respect my elders, and I think that we don't give them enough credit for all the cool shit that they've been through. And if you get a chance to talk to them about it, do it, because they have the most awesome stories. I mean, even my partner's mom, who like has dementia, and she's just the sweetest thing. Hearing her reflect on like stories of her travel and just like her when she was younger and growing up, she lights up, and it's the coolest, it's the coolest thing, being able to like experience life through them, and then hearing their stories. And they grew up in a completely different time from all of us, and they're just yeah, especially ladies that are in like their 60s, 70s, 80s, they're the toughest chicks, honestly. Vibey grannies everywhere. Because Karens are getting too much credit. Let's like fuck like giving Karens all the attention. Let's like switch it up to Vibey grannies, because they're everywhere. Guilty by association. Do you guys ever feel like you're a better person or like a worse person by being associated with somebody else? I mean, ultimately, you shouldn't give a fuck what other people think. That's no way to really live your life. But when it comes down to it, let's say you have a friend who's, super, super smart, and you don't have the best grades, and you're like skipping class. Their parents might think that like their kid is like, sort of guilty by association. Like, they're not going to make the best decisions by hanging out with you because you, on paper, aren't the best person. But that's not always the case. I mean, you can hang out and you can sort of have friends that are doing different things than you. Like, even if it's like a different line of work, if they're doing something that's, I'm not saying you should go hang out with friends that are like drug dealers, but just like in a sense, it's sort of good to have like a contrasting opinion around you, or sort of somebody else who's dabbling in like different things in life, because it just makes you more of like a whole well-rounded person, in my opinion. Just being able to have like a healthy friendship where you can like debate certain points of view on things, or learn from them, or really, just like have captivating conversations. I think that's super important. You shouldn't surround yourself with like the same kind of person. But and I've found myself sort of guilty by association in a few situations, whether it's like in high school, like, yeah, hanging out with like stoner skater boys. Your teachers aren't gonna assume the best things about you when you come into class, right? When they like, how teachers like have their own gossip about the students, I'm sure not the best things were spoken about me. But nonetheless, I just wanna, sort of explore that thought a little bit, because I've got a friend who's sort of, we say he does DoorDash, and he does do DoorDash, but he also does some other stuff that people might not think very highly of, but he does what he has to do to get his bills paid. He's happy with his life. He loves his independence and his freedom and being financially independent. And you might think I'm talking about schmonly fans, and I'm not. But I just want to say, don't be too hard on other people for what they do. Don't judge other people for who they hang out with. Because oftentimes this concept of guilty by association is so shit. It really is. So just like lay off other people for who they surround themselves with. Mind your own business, and open your mind a little bit. Go talk to somebody that you wouldn't really talk to normally. Expand your horizons. Open your mind, bitches. Open your mind, bitches. I admire people that are super spontaneous. I am not. I wish I was. I work myself up for nothing. I have to like prepare and like overthink and overpack, and I find it very hard to be spontaneous. I wonder if I need to do like some sort of trip and just like contemplate why I'm not as spontaneous. Shrooms are really cool for that, I find. When I take a trip, I like to have an intention and sort of, go into it thinking about exploring a certain web, a certain knot that I have in my brain or conscience. And, but also sometimes I just like do a little and just see what happens, see what comes up. I do love shrooms. I think mushrooms are just really good for you, even if we're not talking medical mushrooms. I just recently started taking this like immune supplement, but it's got like reishi mushrooms, lion's mane, turkey tail, like all the little shrooms grounded up into like a little supplement. So yeah, I can't wait to see the overall effects of that. I really love health supplements and just natural medicine. My mom was really into homeopathic medicine, which I think is the coolest, and I would love to get into that more even as I get older. I find naturally and I find naturally that I've just sort of found interest in it myself, and I like to think that I get that from my mom. But no, I started taking these, and my dog, who is 7, who thank goodness stopped chewing on his bone. He's so good. He's so sweet. I love him so much. I couldn't get him the same version of what I've been taking, which you can give to dogs, but I started giving him some turkey tail powder, very small amount, mix it in with some of his treats, and he loves it. So far, so good. But it's proven to have so many health benefits for humans and dogs. So he started taking that just to sort of help with, you know, overall health and prevention of disease and just, yeah, health and wellness and happiness. So him and I both are like on shrooms every day. I also want to get into microdosing shrooms. Yeah, I love shrooms. The magic of mushrooms. They grow in the earth. They grow from the earth. Mother Earth wants us to take them. God wants us to take them. And if you don't believe in God, that's fine. Neither do I. What is God? What is a mushroom? What is life? What is existence? We are all experiencing a dream. That's what this is. And that's not the White Claw speaking. That's straight from my heart. Mushrooms are so good for you. They have so many health benefits, and if we want to now switch to talking about the magic mushrooms, those are the golden teachers, I once ate some golden teachers, and during that experience, it was actually the first time on a mushroom trip with my current partner, and I just kept saying, like, I'm not tripping, I don't feel anything, I should have more, so I just kept eating more, which is totally fine and totally like me. If you know me, I'm just like, okay, give me more, I can't, I don't know when to stop. And and then I had like this big revelation of like, why do I always feel like I need to be clean? Like, that was my big thing that time. And I was like hysterically laughing and crying at the same time, which is the weirdest feeling. Like, your jaw just like feels crazy and you're just, laughing and crying, and it's just so weird. But I just had this revelation. I'm like, Elon Musk doesn't wake up and think like, okay, I gotta like clean my house, like, put on a fresh outfit and shower and the whole thing. He just wakes up and he works hard at Tesla and whatever other projects he has on the docket for the day. He doesn't give a shit about being clean. Jeff Bezos, like all the other 1%ers, they don't give a fuck about being clean. And I'm not saying, and I'm not comparing myself to the 1%ers, and I don't want to even, I'm saying like, why do I feel like I need to wake up and be so clean all the time? And it might not be something that I can really articulate to you guys right now on this podcast, clearly. But that was my big takeaway that trip. And I think it's kind of funny because I do feel like I'm in control when I have a perfectly clean house and have all the laundry done and, have everything in order, and I feel clean and organized. And that's great, but I need to sort of chill out in that regard as well and not put so much time and effort into having things become like this level of OCD clean, which I think I've been developing. This quarantine has made me realize that I'm developing not only a mood disorder, but a little bit of OCD, so that's going to go great with my natural supplement self-prescription. I was beating myself up over the past few days because I haven't been doing some art, but I finally got to some art this morning. I've been working with some gold leaf because I saw a picture on Instagram first thing this morning that inspired me. which is interesting because I keep telling myself that I don't want to be spending an hour in the morning scrolling on my phone. I think that's so bad for me personally, and I would suggest all of you stop doing that if that's something you find yourself doing first thing in the morning. Just a little suggestion from me. But I was inspired, so I guess it had some benefit, and I got to it, and I'm really proud of myself. I'm really glad with the result of what occurred artistically and creatively, and I'm really proud of myself. And I just sort of plopped my tush down and I did it. You know, I had this realization when I was younger, you know, it's all about where you put your body. I don't know why it stuck with me and why it really just like felt, I got that thunk of like, that's good, that was a good thought. It just stuck with me. It's all about where you put your body. And that's all about, you know, and that's kind of what life is all about. So yeah, I just plopped my tush down. I put my body down and I got to art. I had all the supplies in front of me, ready to go, and we got to it. So I'm really excited about that. I'll insert a picture here of the painting. Well, it was more of like a collage mixed media piece, like all of my art is. I think I go into it, you know, wanting to create one thing, and then I end up taking it totally around the corner and around, you know, around a place I've never been before. And I love that because although I have sort of like a style and a practice that I continue to explore, it's always taking me to different places and different corners of my creativity, which I love about myself. So yeah, if you guys aren't like doing anything for yourself creatively and artistically, what are you doing? I'm sure we've all picked up something in the last year. You know, my grandma knits. You know, I have another aunt who's, if she's not like, she started doing some art classes online, just like learning more about paints and colors and tones and hues. And she's got a paint by numbers that she's been working on. You know, some people like doing video editing. Some people have started podcasts. Some people, you know, are full on, you know, drag queens. That's a full art. I mean, people are just like expressing themselves and have been expressing themselves artistically for thousands and thousands of years. So find your little niche if you haven't already. If it's not like even visual arts, you'd be surprised. Poetry, dance. I mean, we all dance like no one's watching. That's another thing that I did today that really made me feel good. If you guys have never like crumped alone in your home, I highly recommend that you guys take a moment to just crump it out all up in your house. It's not for everyone, but you know, it makes you feel damn good. Maybe that's something I should be doing leading up to my period, is just crumping alone in my house. That's my that's my recommendation for PMS stress. Just start crumping in the mirror. Just start freaking yourself out. Guys, thanks for letting me get some stuff off of my chest this week. Letting these tits twat. This is truly a mess of an episode, and that's okay, alright? They're not always gonna be big old nuggets of wisdom. And if you found a little takeaway in this episode, don't forget to film the clip and tag us on socials. Tittok Pod is on TikTok. Go check us out there. We've also got an Instagram, Facebook page, YouTube. All podcast platforms are playing us, so go ahead and give us a listen and subscribe over there. Give us a rating. I'd love to hear from you. Make sure that you're coming back because I love having you here. Super cheesy, but that's how we're going to end this week's episode. Talk to you guys later. Peace and love.